Tune Into Care is produced in Meanjin, Brisbane on Turrbal and Yuggera country. We acknowledge the traditional owners as the custodians of this land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. Tune Into Care is brought to you by Wellways Carer Gateway. Carer Gateway is an Australian government initiative providing free services and support for carers. I'm your host, Billy Bentley, and welcome to Series 3 of Tune Into Care, a podcast exploring the lives of carers. In this series, we're meeting carers where they are and sharing their powerful and inspiring stories. Listeners to this podcast already know that the caring journey can be tough and lonely, and it's full of love and sacrifice as well. So this podcast is all about hearing those stories and connecting carers with some of the supports that are out there so they don't have to bear it all on their own. This means meeting carers where they are. Something that Wellways Carer Gateway has been working hard on. That might be the new Wellways Wander Van rolling into regional towns to ease that service and support gap that carers outside cities often face, which we talk about with Alfina's story in episode 3. It might be a carer like Sally in episode 2 and her experience of the Carer Hub in Cairns, where carers can go to connect, find help, or just have a rest in a quiet space with a massage chair. It might be finding a new career thanks to the Wellways Vocational Pathway Program, as in Gerowyn's journey in episode 4. Or like Emily's story in episode 5, feeling the deep relief of being listened to by a coach who's there to support her and help her make meaningful change. Above all, this is a series about the transformative power of asking for help, and that there is help out there for you, and that looking after yourself as a carer is not a selfish act, but an essential one. We've already recorded the full season, and I can tell you there are some powerful and inspiring stories coming your way. To give you a preview of what's ahead, we're about to hear a few snippets from our episodes. Now, you mentioned that you and Greg, you went to the Esplanade to have a bit of time out together. What do you do as a carer to have time out for yourself?
Yeah, that's a really good question because it's quite a hard thing to do. And I can remember just recently things were getting a bit overwhelming for me, and I remember thinking, I just need to get out. I need to go somewhere else so that I don't keep getting pulled back into the sadness or the tragedy or the difficulties that my partner's having. But I felt like there was nowhere to go because you could go to a cafe, but you just sit there and you have a coffee and then it's time to go and you're not really relaxing or having quiet time to yourself. So it really wasn't until Carer Gateway developed their hub that I realised now there is a place to go, and it's a space just for people who support others who need to have some time out. And so whatever your time out is, you can do there. So they're set up for, if you want to do drawing, there's drawing and paints there. If you want to just go to sleep and have a rest, there's this beautiful massage chair in this really quiet room. It's like going to visit family almost, that there's a person there who is there for you.
That's nice,
and
yeah.
They welcome you in, and it's a beautiful building, and it's really comfortable. There's no like someone sitting behind a desk saying take a number or have you got an appointment. It's just instant welcoming.
Why is it important to have that moment of feeling valued as a carer?
Yeah, I think when you are navigating the health system and the NDIS systems, and you or the person that you're caring for is in great difficulties, you feel quite downtrodden and not necessarily regarded in a lot of ways. So you do feel a bit sometimes lost in the system and not listened to and not heard. And so for someone to want to hear your viewpoint is special and different, and that was really lovely. But also I think too that when you're caring for someone else, you can become very absorbed with your role, and you sort of lose a bit of touch really of your own self and what you think and feel and need. And so to have an organisation come in and ask you, what do you need? You tell us, is kind of like, it was surprising and really beautiful to be seen. I think we felt seen in that moment, and it's a rare treasure.
My name is Donna Raymond. I am the Carer Hub Navigator for Wellways Carer Gateway up in Cairns. So the hub is a really beautiful space for them to access to do what they will, whether it's the library, having a cup of tea, having a yarn, meeting other people there, accessing the services, meeting the coach, the in-person peer support, the counsellors, the vocational navigators, the partners, or using that co-design piece, which I really love, where they get to share what they would like to experience in the hub. And that's my role, is I get to connect all those pieces together and create something beautiful. There is such a wealth of wisdom, talent, creativity, energy, ingenuity, innovation, all wrapped up in every single person that crosses through that door. Sometimes they don't have capacity to share that for their journey. It doesn't mean that it's not there. So I'm really inspired to create invitations and opportunities where those people can share and express that and feel empowered that they can step into becoming the leader of their own lives.
Because Aiden was born with a very rare condition, wasn't he?
Had a connective tissue disorder. I counted one particular year before, this was I think at 2 years old, 22 visits in one calendar year to come to Brisbane for various respiratory, dental, eyes, heart, so many things, because the connective tissue is our whole body. So you're tapping into so many different areas. It was always paperwork to come to Brisbane, paperwork at the hospitals, paperwork. It was just constant. No one gave me a degree in paperwork. But
you've got one now.
But, you get it. So then I decided the best thing, I didn't want to travel to Brisbane constantly, but I didn't want to live in Brisbane. And I needed to stay in the medical corridor. So we moved to Toowoomba. Then we started to be by ourselves. It was our family unit. Didn't consist of Aiden's grandparents.
Yep.
It was me and him.
Yeah, okay.
So when I moved to Toowoomba, that's where my journey started of looking at the carer side. And I still didn't identify as a carer.
Why did you not identify as a carer?
Because I was a mum. That's a job you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be getting any awards for it or anything. You're a mum.
Do you remember when you finally were accepting of the term of carer?
I think more so when I became at burnout, I understood what I'd done to myself.
What type of support have you had from the Wellways Carer Gateway, and how has it made a difference?
It's made me a bit stronger. I'm feeling more confident. I can see things a little bit clearer. I'm happier. It's opening my eyes to me and what I need to be able to be here for longer, to look after Aiden for longer, to be a lot happier when I'm around Aiden and not just, tired constantly. I have been fortunate. I've run into some amazing people on my journey, and I can't thank them enough because it's like a door. It's like you get to that door and you're knocking as loud as you can because you want to be heard.
We've spoken to lovely Alfina, and a lot of the carers we've spoken to, they might live in capital cities or close enough to capital cities, but a lot of the carers live in regional and remote communities.
Yes.
And, there's challenges that they face that your team address daily, isn't there?
There is. This is the has been the introduction of Wanda and some of our carer hubs that are dotted around Queensland and New South Wales. So Wanda, for anyone who's not familiar with her, well, him, is a beautifully decorated van that travels. We've got one that travels through Queensland and one that travels through Nepean Blue Mountains in New South Wales. These mobile hubs have been set up to address exactly that, to reduce the barriers for carers accessing service in their local community. We hear so often that people are travelling such long distances for hospitals and medical appointments and services outside of their towns. So we need to go to people. We need to go to where the people are at. And the great thing about Wanda is that the van is so welcoming and the people who are in it are just very, very beautiful, calm, lovely people, but they have a wealth of knowledge. So you might rock up to the Wander van and just want to have a conversation. You might rock up and want to engage in planning and seek support. You might just want to say hi.
It's such a great service, isn't it? And I think it's just tapping into the important thing which is, is meeting carers where they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not on the carer to come and find us. It's up to us as an organisation and a carer gateway to find the carer.
Tell me, when did you first discover Wellways Carer Gateway?
5 years ago, when I was in a complete autistic burnout and didn't realise that was what it was. The doctor was trying to tell me it was depression. I'm like, that really doesn't fit. Carers Gateway was a lifeline. Sally is the coach. Absolutely amazing. Like, when I was at a point where I could see no hope, no future, my house was flooded, my marriage had fallen apart. I had double vision from Graves' disease. I was still not recovered from the broken leg. I had no work experience. I couldn't even drive out the driveway. I was on a rural property. She helped me, identify my strengths and what I'd actually accomplished already. Even though I felt like I was absolutely useless, she helped me see my worth and helped me see a way forward.
That's nice, isn't it, when someone sees you like that?
It is. It's validating, and it's going, hey, you're in a hard situation and you're making the best of it that you possibly can. Let's see what we can work together with.
That's great.
To help you move forward. And she actually helped me to enrol in a diploma in counselling. Well, it helped me to realise that that's what I wanted to do. The coaching through Carers Gateway is really helpful. The other thing Carers Gateway's just brought in is actual vocational training, which I've just started that with Sam as well, actually.
What are you doing in the vocational training?
So she's helping me with my resume, as well as helping me to identify where I'm wanting to work, what my capacity is, and what potential jobs are actually available that might work for me. There's just so much that Carers Gateway have helped with.
But how important is it to you, and maybe to others, to get that chance to get back to doing something other than caring?
It's really important because nobody pays us. It would be really nice to get paid to do something for once, to actually have somebody acknowledge that you're doing something of value and pay for it. And it's being a good role model for the kids as well, so that they go, well, I need to get a job at some point. It's really important to be able to find some way of doing that, because at some point the caring role is going to end, either through the person you're caring for getting better and not needing to be cared for anymore, or potentially getting worse and needing to go into a full-time facility, or potentially passing away. So at some point the caring role is going to end. So it's really important for carers to be able to get back on that horse and get into a actual career and be able to do something with their life.
You were a nurse, so you've obviously spent your life, working life caring for people. How has that transition been?
It was a tricky one, I'd say. I suppose I kind of felt a lot like I should know everything. And when it comes to my kid, my nurse brain turns off and I'm just back to a normal person that doesn't understand anything. So I think that transition was difficult. The caring part was normal. I just kind of cared like I did like a mum.
Okay.
So.
Emily, you're working with Kate, one of the Wellways Carer Gateway coaches. How has she helped support you so far?
It's been a really positive time. I kind of actually look forward to it every fortnight. Catching up and just having that space to be able to, as I said, like open up and, just be able to talk without feeling too guilty about anything I say. Yeah. Quite often I'll just go in there, I'll start with, a simple sentence and then I'll be blubbering and she'll be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's so important. Yeah. I always feel so guilty about talking to family and friends. I don't want to burden them, the usual feelings. But being able to go in and talk to Kate and, her just letting me go is absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's so relaxing.
Do you feel heard?
Absolutely.
You feel listened to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of gets me. Like,
In our final episode of Season 3, we flipped the script a little and invite Rachel Lovelock, director and one of the driving forces behind Wellways Carer Gateway, to talk about the programs on offer and how her lived experience as a carer has shaped her perspective on what it is to offer support and services to carers. I think one of the overarching things of speaking to carers the whole way through has been, I need to remember to look after myself before I can look after my family.
Yeah.
And then they have gone on to say that they have gotten the support when they've gone to the hubs
Yep.
or spoken to their carers. How does that make you feel to know that it has made a difference?
It's amazing because it's not easy to ask for help. It's actually really hard to put yourself first. And, you know, in all my years of working in this sector, most people will tell me what their person needs before they'll tell me what they need. You've got to provide the support that gives people the headspace to think about, you know, we say their own identity or who they want to be or what's meaningful outside of their caring role. All of that feels like it's so far away. It feels hard to grasp when you're just trying to keep your head above the water today and just sort of sit there and think, I've got to get through to the end of today. So we have to meet people, welcome them, do those support things that give people a bit of a break and actually look after themselves, feel valued, feel heard, feel seen. And then once you build a relationship, that's when you can start doing the work that's sustainable over time. That's where you tuck in. And I think in my caring journey, that was probably 12 months, where it really was 12 months where I felt really supported and I felt incredibly heard and I could describe my caring role. But what I couldn't do is describe who I was outside of that. And so that was working with someone, and it was both therapeutic work, it was being with other peers, it was practical skills that I gained, but that's when my world opened up and I needed to rely less on services. Up until then, it was always a service response. Something went wrong, I've got to ring the worker. Yeah. And after that time, something went wrong, but I know who in my network is going to support me. I know how to ask for that help. I know what I can do myself, and that's the work that excites me. I love it when we do that work because I think that's the work that makes a difference in people's lives.
It's been such a great privilege to record this series and hear the experiences of both the carers and the Wellways team who've shared their own stories. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this as much as we've enjoyed recording it. Above all, I hope it inspires you to reach out to Wellways to find out more about their full range of services and get the help that you might need. To hear more carer stories, subscribe to Tune Into Care on your favourite podcast platform or streaming service. Carer Gateway is an Australian government initiative. If you're a carer in need of support, call Wellways Carer Gateway on 1800 422 737. I'm Billy Bentley. Thank you for listening and thank you for all that you do.